Hello students, we are learning lesson number 14 natural resources. Till now we have learnt that how air is a resource to us, water is a resource to us and how soil is also a resource. Now the next topic is biogeochemical cycle. Now if they are the resources, that means they are used by us, and the main motto of using is getting food which gives us energy. And biogeochemical cycle deals with the provision of the food that we get, and for the preparation of the food, how the plants get the minerals from any of the three spheres and how the cyclic flow of the minerals goes on. That we are going to learn in biogeochemical cycle. Let us understand what is the meaning of biogeochemical. Bio means living things. Geo means spheres of the earth. It may be hydrosphere, lithosphere or atmosphere. And chemicals are the nutrients present in different spheres of earth. Now nutrients doesn't mean that we get directly an apple from the air or we get a chapati from the water. It's not like that. Nutrients means they are the minerals which are present in any of the three spheres, and these minerals are used by the plants for the preparation of food, and this food we get it from the plants for getting energy. So they are the nutrients. Okay. So biogeochemical. Bio means living things, geo means spheres of earth, and chemicals means the nutrients present in different spheres of the earth. Now let us see the definition of biogeochemical cycle. Biogeocycle is the cyclic flow of nutrients between the non-living components of the earth, that is soil, rock, air or water, and living organisms which make the biosphere. That means it is a cyclic pathway in which the nutrients are taken up by the plants from the soil, rock, air or water. They prepare the food, they are eaten by the animals, and again from the plants and animals' bodies, these nutrients are given back into the sphere, returned back into the sphere, so that the same nutrients can again be used by the plants by absorbing by the root from the soil. So the cyclic path should be there in order to maintain the amount of the nutrients in the spheres. And the four major nutrients present in the nature are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and nitrogen. There are other nutrients too, but these are the four major nutrients which forms 95% of the mass of living organisms. That means these three elements are used by the plants for the preparation of the food, and this food forms the 95% of the mass of living organisms' body. Now these nutrients are obtained by the living beings from different spheres, as we know, air, water and soil of the earth, and then these nutrients are returned back into the earth by decomposers, that is bacteria and fungi, by decomposing dead remains of plants and animals. That is, once it is eaten by the animals, when the animals dies, their bodies are decomposed, that is, bodies are broken into smaller and smaller parts, from which the minerals are again taken out by the bacteria and fungi by breaking the body structure, and then the minerals are again returned back into the spheres so that it can again be used by the plants for the preparation of the food. Then following are the biogeochemical cycles: water cycle, nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle and oxygen cycle. There are four biogeochemical cycles which we are going to study one by one. Let us see first of all water cycle. Now water cycle we are studying since our primary section, and all of us knows that water cycle means first of all the water gets evaporated from the surface of the earth, it goes to the sky, formation of cloud is there and cloud falls as rain, and again the rain gets evaporated, again the formation of cloud and again the falling of the rain. That is how the cycle goes on. So again we are going to study it as per the 9th standards level. The whole process by which the water evaporates from the earth's surface and falls on the land as rain is called water cycle. Now in this process there are two parts. One is, first of all, the water from the earth's surface will go to the atmosphere, and the second part is from the atmosphere it is again going to fall on the earth's surface. So first of all, the water goes to the sky in the form of water vapor from the earth by the process of evaporation. The first part is evaporation. Evaporation means it is a process by which the water from the lithosphere goes to the atmosphere. Because of solar radiation, water in the sea, ocean, lakes and rivers gets heated and evaporates. That is, the liquid water changes into water vapor. The water in the gaseous state rises up and on reaching a certain height condenses and forms water droplets. Condensation means the water vapor which is in the gaseous form, the particles are far apart. When the temperature is low, when it is very cool, then the particles comes closer and they form the water droplets. That is called condensation. These water droplets condense and form clouds, means many water particles comes together and form a heavy cloud. Now this is how the water from the earth's surface goes into the sky in the form of water vapor. Then there are other ways also by which the water is released from the plants to the atmosphere. Water is also released by the plants by transpiration into the atmosphere. Transpiration means it is a process in which the leaves of the plants have got small pores. They are called stomata. This stomatal pores releases excess water into the atmosphere in the form of water vapor. So this is called transpiration. Water is also released into the atmosphere by respiration. As we know, respiration is a process in which food particles are broken down inside the cells and energy and water vapor and carbon dioxide is released. This is called respiration. So in the process of respiration also water vapor is released into the atmosphere. So this is how by the three processes the water is released from the earth's surface into the atmosphere. One is evaporation, transpiration and respiration. Then once it goes into the atmosphere, from the atmosphere again it has to return back to the earth's surface. So release of water from atmosphere to the earth, there is only one process, that is rainfall. When the clouds become very heavy, then it cannot be held back into the sky, it falls as a rain. So now what happens to the water of the rainfall? The water of the rainfall, 90% of the water falls into the oceans. It goes into the oceans, rivers and lakes. But some part also seeps into the soil. So there are three things which can happen to the rainfall water. First of all, some part of the rainfall falls on the soil. It seeps into the soil. An underground freshwater reservoir is created under the soil. So it is an underground freshwater formation. Now, how this underground freshwater can be used by the living organisms? This underground water comes out through natural springs, sometimes through the outlet of the soil. Natural springs comes out, or sometimes from the mountain the spring falls are there. Then this water can also be brought out by digging wells or tube wells. Tube wells means boring wells. Then this is how the freshwater part goes on. Now some part of the rainfall falls on the seas, oceans, rivers and lakes. And some part, if it falls on the mountain tops, because of very cool atmosphere over there, the water freezes and forms the ice cap on the mountains, and this ice melts and the water comes to the river, from where again the evaporation takes place and it goes into the atmosphere. Now, how this water is used by the living world? It is used by terrestrial animals and plants for various life processes, as we have already seen. And as rainwater flows through rocks, many minerals of the rocks dissolved in the flowing water. That is, when the water falls on the mountains and it goes into the plain land with great speed, then the mountain surface gets degraded. That is, it becomes soft and some particles of the rocks are carried away by the water. And when it is the upper surface of the rocks is carried away, it contains minerals. So these minerals goes into the river water. From the river it goes to the sea. And under the sea, marine organisms are there. There are aquatic plants which prepares food for the marine organisms, or these minerals are also used directly by the marine organisms. This is how the rainwater is used by the living world. Now this is the diagram of the water cycle. As we can see that this is the surface water. Surface water may be in the form of rain, that is rivers, lakes, oceans, and this is the land surface. On the land, the plants and animals are there. So when the solar energy falls on the water surface, as well as land surface. If it falls on the water surface, then due to solar heat it gets evaporated, goes to the sky, and formation of cloud is there, and the cloud again falls as rain on the land, and the same solar heat falls on the trees, and because of that the excess water from the stomatal pore of the trees gets transpiration takes place, and again in the form of water vapor is got into the atmosphere, forms the cloud, and the water vapor is also released by the animals in the process of respiration. So it goes into the atmosphere by evaporation, transpiration and respiration, and it comes back on the earth surface as rain, and once the rain comes it may fall on the surface water, or it may go and form the underground freshwater reservoir. This is the water cycle is over. Now we can see the next one, that is called nitrogen cycle. One by one, as we know that main minerals are oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen and water. So the water cycle is over. Next one is nitrogen cycle. It is the same thing, that first of all the nitrogen is absorbed by the plant. It prepares the proteinaceous food, that is protein containing food. This is eaten by the animals, and when the plants and animals dies, or their dead remains are decomposed by some bacteria, and again the nitrogen gas is released into the atmosphere. This cyclic process is there. So nitrogen cycle is a cyclic process in which nitrogen goes from atmosphere into the soil. Actually, the plants directly cannot absorb the nitrogen gas into its leaves for the preparation of the food. First of all, the nitrogen has to go to the soil, and from the soil the roots of the plants absorb the nitrogen. So first of all, the nitrogen goes from the atmosphere into the soil. It is absorbed by plants and converted into plant protein, that is eaten by the animals. And when the plants and animal dies, or their dead remains means it may be the excretory product of the animal, or it may be the leaves or branches of the plant that falls on the soil, which are decomposed, which are broken down into smaller particles, and nitrogen is released in the atmosphere as nitrogen gas. First of all, now this nitrogen gas is bifurcated into different steps. The first step is source of nitrogen, that is from where we can get nitrogen. It is present in the atmosphere as nitrogen gas, that is 78% of the air volume consists of nitrogen gas. It is also present in the biomolecules like proteins, nucleic acids like DNA and RNA. DNA is present in the chromosomes. As we know, chromosome of the nucleus is made up of DNA, and RNA is also present in the chromosomes of certain virus, and it is also present in the vitamins. That means in the biomolecules like carbohydrate, proteins and vitamins, the nitrogen is present. It is also present in the biological important compounds like urea and alkaloids. Urea is present in the fertilizers, and alkaloids are the biological components present in the animals and plants' bodies. The nitrogen is required by plants to synthesize protein, but plant leaves cannot absorb nitrogen gas directly from the atmosphere. So first of all, the nitrogen has to be brought back into the soil. So first of all, atmospheric nitrogen is fixed in the soil by converting into water soluble nitrate. That means the nitrogen gas is brought to the soil, it is converted into nitrate salt, which can be absorbed by the plant roots. This is called nitrogen fixation. That is, bringing of atmospheric nitrogen into the soil and converting it into nitrate salt is called nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation is done by two processes: biological process and physical process. Biological process means which is done by the living component, bacteria or blue-green algae. So first of all, in biological process, atmospheric nitrogen into the nitrate salt, it is converted, atmospheric nitrogen gas is converted into nitrate salt by rhizobium bacteria. Living, it is the name of a bacteria which lives in the root nodules of legumes. Root nodules of legumes. Legumes means peas or beans plants in which the proteins are present. That is pulses plant. Pulses plants are called legumes. So in the roots of the legumes, certain small balls are there. Very small balls like the mustard seeds are there. and inside this small spherical structures, these structures are called root nodules. Inside the nodules, this rhizobium bacteria lives, and they can inhale the atmospheric nitrogen and can bring it into their body, and they can convert it into nitrate salt, and this can also be done by azotobacteria and blue-green algae. Physical process. In the physical process, how the nitrogen is brought from the atmosphere and converted into nitrate, let us see. The nitrogen gas, that is N2, reacts with the oxygen gas during the lightning. N2 reacts with the O2 during lightning and forms nitrogen oxide gas. This nitrogen oxide gas dissolves in the rainwater and forms nitric acid, and nitric acid falls in the soil and converts into nitrate salt. So nitrogen gas is converted into nitrogen oxide by combining with oxygen gas during lightning in rainy season. Nitrogen oxide dissolves in the rainwater and forms nitric acid. Nitric acid falls on the soil as nitrate salt. Now this is how nitrate salt is formed, and now let us see how it is used by the plants and animals. Now nitrate salt is soluble in water. So it gets dissolved in water, and the roots of the plants absorb nitrate salt from the soil, and the leaves convert it into plant protein. That is, from the roots it goes to the stem, and from the stem it is going to the leaves with the help of the xylem vessel. That is one of the plant tissues which carries the water and minerals from the soil into the leaves. So with the help of this nitrate salt, the plant protein, that is, plant prepares the plant protein. The plant protein is eaten by the animals. This is how the nitrogen goes into the body of plants and animals. Now the second thing is, once it goes into the plants and animals' bodies, how it is again coming back to the soil so that the plants can again use it. So releasing of nitrate salt into the soil. Now when the plants and animals dies, or their excretory products, or that is called dead remains of the plants and animals, is decomposed by the bacteria and fungi. That means the bacteria and fungi feeds on their dead remains or dead bodies, and the bodies are broken down into smaller particles. So the nitrate salt present in the plants and animals' bodies is converted into ammonia first of all by bacteria. So conversion of the nitrate salt into the ammonia is called ammonification process. Conversion of nitrate salt into ammonia is called ammonification process. And then again the ammonia gas is converted into nitrites and nitrates by some bacteria. This is called nitrification process. These nitrites and nitrate salt is again absorbed by the plant roots to form the protein. Now sometimes the amount of nitrate salt becomes excess. That means if they are not absorbed by the plant, then they remains in the soil, and they are called excess nitrates. These excess nitrates are again released back into the atmosphere in the form of nitrogen gas, so that they again can be fixed by the bacteria or physical process into the soil, and from the soil it goes to the plants which prepares the protein, and again from the plants and animals' bodies it has to come back to the soil. Now let us see how the releasing back of nitrogen from the soil into the atmosphere as nitrogen gas. The process of releasing nitrate salt, that is process of conversion of the nitrate salt into nitrogen gas, is called denitrification. So in the process of denitrification, excess nitrate salt of the soil is converted into nitrogen gas by a bacteria called Pseudomonas bacteria. See, it is Pseudomonas. P is silent. You pronounce it as Pseudomonas bacteria. So this is how the whole cycle is completed. That is, once the nitrogen gas is absorbed by the plant, then again that same nitrogen gas is released back into the atmosphere by the process of denitrification process, and the cycle gets completed. So this is, we can describe the nitrogen cycle as in the form of diagram. See, the atmospheric nitrogen comes to the soil by nitrogen fixation, which is absorbed by the green plants. Then it prepares the food, that is protein containing food that is eaten by the animals. And when the plants and animals dies, their bodies is decomposed and the nitrate salt is converted into ammonia by ammonification. Then the ammonia is again converted into nitrite and nitrate by nitrification, and this nitrate, when it becomes excess, then by the process of denitrification it converts into nitrogen gas, and again the cycle begins. This is the cyclic path of nitrogen cycle. So this was the two cycles already we have studied. One is water cycle, second is nitrogen cycle. So this is all for today's video. We'll be meeting in the next video. Goodbye then, children.